Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Mary, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are.
Hi, everyone. This is Tom speaking. Thank you so much for joining us again. We always enjoy spending this time learning English together with you.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about something very useful in English grammar. It's a small word, but it appears in many conversations, and that word is would.
Yes, would is everywhere in English. You hear it in daily conversations, in movies, and even in polite requests. But many learners feel confused about how to use it.
That's true. Some learners know the word would, but they don't always understand when to use it.
Sometimes people think would only belongs to grammar rules, but actually, it's very common in everyday speaking. Native speakers use it naturally all the time.
For example, when someone offers something politely, they often use would. It makes the sentence sound softer and more friendly.
Yes, imagine someone asking you in a cafe, "Would you like some coffee?" That sounds much nicer than simply saying, "Do you want coffee?"
Would helps us sound polite and respectful. That's one of the main reasons people use it.
It also helps us talk about imaginary situations, things that are possible but not happening right now.
For example, you might say, I would travel the world if I had more time.
That sentence shows a dream or a possibility. It's not happening today, but it expresses your wish.
Let's try a simple example together. Tom, imagine we're planning a weekend activity.
All right, sounds fun. What do you have in mind?
I might say, I would love to visit the beach this weekend. That means I really want to go.
And I might answer, that would be great. Here, would shows agreement and excitement.
You'll notice that would often appears in friendly conversations. It helps create a relaxed and polite tone.
Exactly. When people use would, their sentences often feel smoother.
For example, instead of saying, I want some water, you could say, I would like some water.
The meaning is similar, but the second sentence sounds more polite.
If you're learning English, don't worry about mastering everything immediately.
Focus on understanding the idea first. Practice slowly and naturally.
The more you hear would, the more comfortable you'll feel using it.
And remember, mistakes are part of learning. They help you grow.
So in this first part, we introduced the meaning of would.
In the next part, we'll explore how would is used in polite requests and polite offers.
These are situations you'll hear every day in English conversations.
Stay with us because the next section will give you practical examples.
We're really glad you're still listening to our podcast today. In this part, we're going to focus on one of the most common uses of the word would.
Yes, and this is something you will hear almost every day in English conversations. We're talking about using would to make polite requests and polite offers. This is one of the easiest ways to sound more natural and respectful.
Let's begin with polite requests. A polite request means asking someone to do something in a respectful way, and the word would helps make your requests softer.
That's right. Instead of sounding direct or demanding, would creates a friendly tone in your sentence.
For example, imagine you're at a restaurant. You want the waiter to bring you some water. You could say, bring me some water.
But that sounds a bit too direct. A better way would be to say, would you bring me some water, please?
Now the sentence feels much more polite, and people usually respond better when requests sound respectful.
This is why would is so useful in everyday communication. It helps build positive interactions with other people.
Let's imagine a few real-life situations. These examples will help listeners understand how would works naturally.
All right, Mary. Let's start with a simple situation at home.
Okay, if I need help opening a jar, I might say, Tom, would you help me open this jar?
And I might answer, of course, I would be happy to help. That sounds friendly and supportive.
Exactly. Notice how both sentences include would. They sound warm and polite.
Another common use is asking for information. For example, when you need directions.
Yes, imagine you're traveling in a new city. You might approach someone and ask politely.
You could say, "Excuse me, would you tell me how to get to the train station?"
That sentence shows respect, and most people will be happy to help you.
Compare that with saying, "Tell me where the train station is." That sounds much less polite.
Now let's talk about another common expression. This one is used when offering something to someone.
The phrase is, "Would you like?" You'll hear this in many situations.
For example, at a cafe, someone might ask, "Would you like some coffee?"
Or at someone's home, they might say, "Would you like some tea?"
This expression shows kindness and hospitality.
It invites the other person to accept or decline politely.
So, how do we respond when someone says, "Would you like something?"
If you accept the offer, you can say, "Yes, I would love some."
Or you can say, "Yes, that would be great."
If you want to decline politely, you can say, "No, thank you."
Another polite answer is, "No, thank you, I'm fine."
Let's try a small role play together.
Great idea. Let's imagine we are in a coffee shop.
All right. Mary, would you like something to drink?
Yes, I would like a latte, please. That sounds perfect right now.
Good choice. I think I would like an iced coffee today.
That sounds refreshing. It's a warm day after all.
Practicing sentences with would helps improve your English quickly.
Yes, because these expressions are used everywhere.
In restaurants, offices, airports, and everyday conversations.
The more you hear and practice them, the more natural they will feel.
So, if you're listening right now, try making your own sentences with would.
You can practice with friends, family members, or even by yourself.
Imagine real situations and speak out loud.
That's one of the best ways to learn.
So, in this part, we focused on polite requests and offers.
We learned how would can make your English sound kinder and more natural.
In the next part, we will explore how would is used in imaginary situations and conditional sentences.
These sentences help you talk about dreams, possibilities, and different outcomes. We're really glad you're still learning English with us today. So far, we have talked about the basic meaning of would and how it is used in polite requests.
Yes, and those are very useful in everyday conversations. But the word would also appears in another very important type of sentence, and that is when we talk about imaginary situations.
An imaginary situation is something that is not real right now. It might be a dream, a possibility, or something we are thinking about.
In English, we often use would to describe what might happen in that situation. This helps us express ideas that are not happening yet.
For example, someone might say, "I would travel around the world if I had enough money."
That sentence shows a dream or a wish. The person is imagining a different situation.
These types of sentences are called conditional sentences. They usually have two parts.
The first part describes a condition. The second part describes the result.
And would is often used in the result part of the sentence.
For example, if I had more free time, I would learn another language.
Let's look at that sentence more carefully. The first part is, if I had more free time.
That's the condition. It describes something that is not true right now.
The second part is, I would learn another language.
That shows the imagined result.
Let's try another example together. Tom, imagine you could live anywhere in the world.
That sounds exciting already. If I could choose any place, I would live near the ocean.
That sounds beautiful. I think I would choose a quiet town with lots of nature.
See how both of us used would to describe our imagined choices.
People often use would when they talk about their dreams.
Yes, dreams and future possibilities are perfect situations for this word.
Someone might say, I would start my own business if I had the opportunity.
Or another person might say, I would study abroad if I could.
Would also helps us imagine different outcomes. Sometimes we think about what could happen in another situation.
For example, if I won the lottery, I would travel to many countries.
That sentence shows a big dream. Winning the lottery is possible, but not likely.
But English allows us to imagine these possibilities easily.
Conditional sentences are not always about big dreams. Sometimes they describe simple daily situations.
For example, someone might say, if it rained tomorrow, I would stay at home.
Or another person might say, if I felt tired, I would take a short break.
These sentences help us explain what we might do in certain situations.
Let's practice with another small conversation.
Great idea. Let's imagine we are planning a vacation.
If I had 2 weeks of vacation, I would visit several countries.
That sounds exciting. If I had that much time, I would explore nature and national parks.
That would be an amazing experience. Traveling can teach us so much about the world.
Absolutely. And it also gives us great stories to share later.
Learning this structure helps you express ideas more clearly.
It also allows you to talk about possibilities and decisions.
Many English conversations include these types of sentences.
So understanding them will make your speaking more natural.
If you're listening right now, try creating your own examples.
Think about your dreams or goals.
Then make a sentence using would.
For example, I would learn a new skill if I had more time.
Or, I would travel more if I had the chance.
So today we explored how would is used in imaginary situations.
We also talked about conditional sentences and dreams.
In the next part of our episode, we will explore another interesting use of would.
We'll talk about how would can describe habits in the past. This is something many learners don't notice at first.
But once you understand it, you will recognize it in many stories and conversations.
We're happy to continue our conversation about the word would. In the previous part, we talked about imaginary situations and conditional sentences.
Yes, those examples help us talk about dreams and possibilities. But would also has another interesting use in English. It can help us describe habits or actions in the past.
When we talk about past habits, we describe things people did regularly in the past. These actions happened many times before, but they may not happen now.
Exactly. In stories or memories, English speakers sometimes use would to show repeated actions.
For example, someone might say, when I was a child, I would play outside every evening.
That sentence tells us about a regular habit in the past. It gives a nice storytelling feeling.
Some listeners might be thinking about another expression, used to.
That's right. Used to and would are sometimes similar.
For example, when I was young, I used to read many books.
And you could also say, when I was young, I would read many books before bed.
Both sentences describe a past habit.
But would is often used more in storytelling.
Let's try a small story using would.
Great idea. Stories are a great way to understand grammar naturally.
When I was a child, my family would visit my grandparents every summer. We would travel by car early in the morning.
That sounds like a wonderful memory. During those visits, what would you usually do?
My cousins and I would play outside all day. In the evening, we would sit together and listen to my grandfather's stories.
That sounds very warm and peaceful. Moments like that often stay in our hearts for many years.
When people tell stories, they want the listener to imagine the past clearly.
Using would helps describe repeated actions smoothly.
It creates a natural rhythm in storytelling.
And it makes the story feel more vivid.
Tom, do you have any childhood memories like that?
Yes, I do. When I was younger, my friends and I would ride our bikes around the neighborhood.
That sounds fun. What else would you do during those days?
On weekends, we would wake up early and go to the park. We would spend hours playing games and talking.
Those simple moments are often the happiest ones. They remind us how important friendship can be.
We can also use would for smaller everyday habits.
For example, someone might say, "My father would read the newspaper every morning."
Or someone else might say, my grandmother would make delicious soup on Sundays.
These sentences paint a clear picture of the past.
They help the listener imagine those regular moments.
If you're listening to this podcast, try thinking about your own past habits.
Maybe there were activities you often did when you were younger.
You could say, "When I was a student, I would study with my friends at the library."
Or when I was a child, I would watch cartoons every weekend.
Practicing sentences like these will improve your storytelling in English.
When you share memories, your conversations become more interesting.
People enjoy hearing stories from the past.
And using words like would makes your English sound smoother.
It also shows that you understand different ways to express time.
So today we learned how would can describe past habits and repeated actions.
We also saw how it can make storytelling more natural.
In the final part of our episode, we'll review everything we learned.
And we'll share a few final tips to help you practice using would in daily conversations.
We'll also say goodbye and thank all of our wonderful listeners.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final part of today's podcast. We're really happy that you stayed with us until the end of this episode.
Yes, thank you so much for listening and learning with us. Spending this time together means a lot to us.
Today, we talked about a very useful word in English. That word is would.
Even though it is a small word, it has many important uses in daily conversations.
First, we discussed the basic idea of would. We explained how it can make sentences sound softer and more polite.
Then we looked at how would is used in polite requests and offers. For example, asking someone, "Would you help me?" or "Would you like some tea?"
These expressions are very common in restaurants, homes, and workplaces. They help people communicate in a respectful way.
After that, we explored imaginary situations and conditional sentences. These sentences help us talk about dreams and possibilities.
For example, someone might say, "I would travel the world if I had more time."
That sentence shows a dream or a wish. It describes something that is possible but not happening right now.
Later in the episode, we also talked about past habits. We learned that would can describe repeated actions in the past.
For example, someone might say, "When I was a child, I would play outside every afternoon."
This type of sentence is often used in stories and memories. It helps make the story feel more vivid.
And when you use would like this, your storytelling in English becomes more natural.
Understanding the word would can improve your English in many ways.
It helps you sound more polite when making requests.
It helps you talk about dreams and possibilities.
And it helps you share memories from the past.
That's why this small word is so powerful.
If you want to improve your English, practice using would in simple sentences.
Start with everyday situations.
For example, you might say, "I would like a cup of coffee."
Or you might say, "I would visit my friend if I had time."
The more you practice, the more natural your English will sound.
Learning English takes time and patience.
But every new word and every new sentence helps you grow.
Don't be afraid to speak and make mistakes.
Mistakes are part of the learning journey.
What matters most is that you keep practicing.
We would like to thank all of our listeners around the world.
Your support encourages us to continue making these episodes.
We truly enjoy sharing English learning tips with you.
And we hope these conversations help you feel more confident.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please support our podcast.
You can help us by subscribing to our channel.
When you subscribe, you won't miss any of our future episodes.
And you can continue learning English with us every week.
You can also share this podcast with your friends who want to learn English.
Learning together can make the journey even more enjoyable.
All right, everyone, we've reached the end of today's episode.
Thank you again for listening to our podcast.
This is Tom speaking.
And this is Mary.
Keep practicing your English every day.
Stay curious, stay motivated, and keep learning.
We look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Goodbye, everyone.